Honorable Al Michaels, this week in Unnecessary Censorship and Music from the Decemberists. With Lean on the Cleats only. And now, moving on, here's Jimmy Kimmel!
I'm glad you're here. It was, what a weird day it was today. Have you been following this story with the Patriots and the deflated footballs? So Tom Brady had a press conference today. Tom Brady's the quarterback for the New England Patriots. He was summoned to appear before the media to answer questions about the footballs that were mysteriously deflated in their game against the Colts last weekend. And I'll tell you something, if you weren't aware of this story, like you had just come back from a vacation in Aruba or something, you didn't know what was going on, you would think Tom Brady had killed the president's dog. It was... This press conference was covered live on all the sports networks, ESPN, ESPN2 through 7, etc. And it was also live on Fox News, Fox Business Channel, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, a bunch of local channels. It was really crazy. They asked him what was basically the same question over and over again for 30 minutes, and he gave basically the same answer over and over again for 30 minutes.
Well, I just wasn't obviously aware Monday morning of, everything that had happened. I wasn't paying attention to what was happening at that time. Everyone's trying to figure out what happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I didn't think anything of it. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I had no idea. I don't know. If I don't know something, I don't know something.
He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know something. He doesn't even know how to spell Tom. Is it with an H? Because, and it was originally reported that 11 of the 12 balls were underinflated, but former NFL referee Jerry Austin told ESPN all of the balls were underinflated, which was very good news for the OCD community. If the Patriots are found to have knowingly underinflated the balls, they might lose draft picks, and the league could take away Bill Belichick's favorite hoodie, which Belichick also spoke to the media today. He was not as charming as Tom Brady. He's not a charming man. Bill Belichick is to charming what Nicole Richie is to fat. It's not... He denied all wrongdoing, but you have to keep in mind, this is a guy who also denied videotaping a rival team's signals, and I have to say, I did not find this statement to be particularly compelling.
When I came in Monday morning, I was shocked to learn of the news reports about the footballs. I had no knowledge whatsoever of this situation until Monday morning. I would say I've learned a lot more about this process in the last 3 days than I knew or had talked about it in the last 40 years that I've coached in this league.
All right, well, at least they're keeping things inflated now. But make no mistake, this is a very serious thing. Attorney Gloria Allred is now representing 9 of the 11 balls Tom Brady allegedly squeezed. So this could cost him a pretty penny. This Deflategate thing, by the way, as they call it, isn't the only big sports controversy in Boston right now. Boston is the American city that was chosen to vie for the Summer Olympics in 2024. And their mayor, Mayor Walsh, in order to maintain a positive glow, I guess, is prohibiting city employees from making negative comments about the Olympic Games or the process itself, which that to me seems unnecessary. I mean, if people from Boston are known for anything, it's for keeping their opinions to themselves, right? So Mayor Walsh said he believes in free speech, but I don't know, this doesn't seem very American to me. This country was founded on the right to free speech, especially Boston. So tonight we gave a group of Boston City employees an opportunity to tell the mayor what they think anonymously.
Our mayor is trying to stop the people of Boston from voicing our opinions about the Olympics.
We will not be silenced.
The Olympics would cause traffic gridlock and completely overtake our daily lives.
They're also wicked boring.
Watching a bunch of bozos trying to throw a long stick? You kidding me?
4 sports matter. Football, basketball, baseball, and hockey.
Go Sox!
Swimming in circles is not a sport.
Go swim at the Cape if you like swimming so much. Get by a shark, see what I care.
Tools! Olympics! Oh, I'm an Olympian. You.
Stupid.
Our mayor? It's a chowderhead. And
Go Sox!
Go Sox!
Yankees suck! Yankees suck! And the Seahawks!
We good here, guys?
Oh, you know what? It's weird. That last guy looked almost a little bit like you, Dickie. Do you have any relatives back in Boston?
A few.
All right. All right. Meanwhile, there's a very important new documentary airing right now on TLC that I want to mention. It's called My Husband's Not Gay. It's about women whose husbands aren't gay. Wouldn't that be most women, by the way? So the special followed 4 Mormon men from Salt Lake City who claimed to have certain feelings that one of the men, Jeff, and his wife, Tanya, explain here.
My name's Jeff.
And I'm Tanya.
We've been married about 9 years. We've got 1 delightful son. And I guess one of the most unique things about our relationship is I experience SSA, or same-sex attraction.
Not gay. SSA.
Right. SSA. As in SSA, look at this guy I'm about to have sex with, honey. They also followed one of Jeff's friends around. His name is Tom, and Tom, as you'll see here, doesn't consider himself to be gay for social reasons.
I don't feel like I fit the mold of guys that are attracted to other men, other than my deep and abiding love for Broadway show tunes and the attraction to males. Those are the 2 things that are kind of gay about me.
Right, yeah. Well, those are 2 of the main things. Other than liking musicals and dudes, I'm as straight as it gets. This show should be called My Husband Doesn't Know What the Word Gay Means. Good lyrics are very difficult to write, and that's why I appreciate tonight's band, the Decemberists, who are on the show. They write interesting, very intelligent songs about uncommon subjects. It's not the usual, I want to get busy with your bottom kind of thing. And that's why I'm so excited that they've agreed to be here tonight to premiere their latest album. The Decemberists have recorded an entire album of YouTube comments. These are the real YouTube comments you see under the videos, set gloriously to music, and I'm happy to present a preview to you now. Please welcome the Decemberists, everyone. Our first video, cute pandas on the side.
Yeah, cute now, but they'll eat your ass if they're hungry enough.
Next, Kim Kardashian's plastic surgery transformation.
OMG, she proved she didn't have a butt implants with a butt x-ray, and she admitted she gets Botox, she does squats, her nose still has a hump in it. If you actually add a recent pic of her nose, you will see it's la-di-da.
President Obama's 2015 State of the Union address.
1, 2, 3, 4, first!
Horrible boat crashes number 1.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, no way.
Noisy kittens waiting for dinner.
I can't believe I make $5,000 a month working from home. Click the link below to find out how.
Justin Bieber's worst moments top 10.
Fever is a cocky little punk who thinks he can piss on people because he's worth 160 million. Whatever talent he has is eclipsed by his massive ego and epic ass. He should just pack up his little dog and pony show and go the hell back to Canada.
And a response?
Shut up, he hot, and he can do whatever.
And, of course, the number 1 single, Commencement Speech, MIT 2005. cartoons on the... I have to admit, I'm not sure how I feel about the band singing Boring 5 times before, in the middle of the monologue, but thank you very much to Decemberists, everybody. We'll be back a little later on. And one more thing is it's Thursday night, and that means it's time to bleep and blur the big TV moments of the week, whether they need it or not. It is This Week in Unnecessary Censorship.
For the first time, President Obama will deliver his address to a Republican-led Congress, one which has made no secret of its plan to f*** him on many fronts.
I'd like to have a conversation about the new Republican you just elected.
They made fun of her because she was a pig.
How dare they?
I know, what's wrong with pig? Nothing.
Yeah, but I'm not, I don't know, I guess it's a challenging thing. I'm not s***ing the balls. I'm not, I don't.
If anybody would like to me in my bedroom, we'll get started.
The Pope has reaffirmed the Church's stance against contraception, but he also said Catholics do not, quote, have to like rabbits.
Rice University says after some initial concerns, they'll let David his balls.
Oh, I'm slightly concerned by the story we just put on television. A Fresno teenager is facing charges after accidentally shitting himself.
Today, National Day.
Yeah, and if you could just anybody in the world, who would you? It's our question on Facebook this morning.
And I have to tell you guys, the majority are my mom,
yes.
my dad, maybe a grandparent who has passed away.
My wife started some dicks, right, 2 days ago. She walked away. I jumped in and finished.
Did you know you've got a dick on your head?
Oh, yes.
The voice of the Super Bowl, Al Michaels, is here, and we'll be right back with Edward Norton, so stick around. Sportscasters of all. He's calling the Super Bowl this year, and he has a new memoir. It's titled "You Can't Make This Up." The great Al Michaels is here with us tonight. What a good book. This is a very good book. I was up until 2:14 a.m. last night reading it all the way to the end, which is a smart thing to do when you have a 6-month-old baby at home. Then later from Portland, Oregon, their latest album is called "What a Terrible World, What a Beautiful World," the Decemberists from the AT&T Outdoor Show. Next week, we have quite a week. Next week, we'll be joined by Channing Tatum, Kevin Costner, David Beckham. A lot of handsome guys on the... A little something for the gentleman. Kerry Washington, J.J. Watt, Oscar nominee Eddie Redmayne, Elle McPherson. Our pal Dave Salmoni will be here with Live Wild Animals. We'll have music from Jamie Cullum, Vance Joy, Neo, and ZZ Top. That's all hashtag next week. Hashtag etc. Our first guest tonight is a ferociously talented actor who got an Oscar nomination for his very first movie role. Last week, he picked up his third for the movie Birdman, which is in theaters now. Please welcome Edward Norton. Good to see you, too. Now, you're from Boston originally, correct?
Born.
Born in Boston.
I was born in Boston, raised in Baltimore.
Okay.
Which is like, it's all the same level of rude, but with a slightly weirder accent. You know, yeah.
So are you a Patriots fan? Are you a Ravens fan?
I grew up a Redskins fan, actually.
Oh, okay.
You know, Joe Theismann and John Reagan and the Hogs.
Oh, yeah. Those were great teams.
And then, but then an Orioles fan.
Do you have an opinion on the on balls?
It's fun. I get more and more interested in this deflated ones. As you
get older?
You know what's really funny is as I get older, I wonder if they're going to talk about the balls hanging too low in the next game. No.
I wonder sometimes if the story would even be as big a deal if the word balls wasn't involved with it.
No, I don't. Some of it I don't get because they're all playing with the same balls, to use a phrase. And,
not really, though, because the offensive team they get to, they bring a dozen balls and they play with the balls. I know this sounds ridiculous. I'm trying not to be 8 years old, but they play with their own balls.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say.
The more you talk about this, the more SSA.
Yeah, that's right. That's a real thing, by the way. Let's not make light of that. That's a real condition that one man is suffering from.
I don't know. You look very trim. You look very
well. You look pretty darn good yourself,
in that gray suit.
And I am attracted to Oscar nominees.
And I to new fathers. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, you're supposed to go the other. You've gotten skinnier since you had a kid.
Well, the baby didn't come out of me. Yeah, I let my wife do it this time. Yeah, and actually, the baby did come out of me, but first, and then we had, you know, and then there was like a way station.
I thought you were going to say that you were a seahorse or something.
You know what? I would like to own a seahorse, and I've looked into ownership of a seahorse, and I'm not a big animals guy, but a seahorse, it's weird you bring that up, because I have a DVD of seahorses that I'll just run in my house. I don't know. Maybe I'm revealing too much.
Porn gets boring.
But seahorses are very hard to keep alive. But the crazy thing about seahorses, as you know, is they look like horses.
Swimming.
And it's weird because they look exactly like horses, but they're underwater. They don't. How did they even know about horses?
And
anyway, congratulations on your Fabian Oscar nomination.
Thank you.
By the way, you're in 2 movies that were nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Birdman and Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
Both movies I love, by the way.
Yeah.
Those are both great movies.
They were. And, you know, look, it's, I mean, these nominations, it's better than a punch in the face, but I have to say none of it's more fun than making movies like that. I think, you know, like Wes Anderson is like one of the great filmmakers of my generation, and he's a fun person to work with. Oh, yeah.
It seems from how colorful the movies are and the way they're shot that he must be fun, but you never know, I guess.
It is fun, and Alejandro Iñárritu, who's a masterful filmmaker, is also just this exuberant Fellini-esque, enormous character, and making Birdman, we talked about it was unlike any film experience that I've had, and so it's weird. You do these things. There's this enormous joy in making them and satisfaction, and we're now 2 years later,
right?
You know, so there's a certain surreal quality to these things being celebrated.
Yeah, it's like getting grades on a test you took as a sophomore, and now you're about to graduate.
you're named homecoming king in your junior year in college.
Yeah, that's a better analogy.
Or your high school. Yeah.
Which movie will you root for Best Picture?
It's all
deep down. You go with the one you're in more, right? Isn't that how it goes?
How many lines did I have in each? No. You know what? Actually, this year, there are more of my friends and longtime colleagues in the mix for this whole thing than I can ever remember, and it's really fun.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, great. Yeah, Bennett Miller is nominated for his fantastic.
Right.
He's an old friend of mine. Mark Ruffalo and Ethan Hawke literally came up in the business with them together in New York, and it's, you know, and they've done like the best work of their careers. Like completely inspired by both of them, and that's there's something gratifying in that to me, much more than sort of the silliness of like, you know, who gets these things. I love seeing Paul Thomas Anderson's film is incredible. You know, Wes's film is incredible. There's just a lot of the people that
It's a very socialist attitude you have towards this thing. I mean, listen, you have to have the eye of the tiger when you go in there. Yeah, you really do. You have to not just
win.
Think
Daniel Day-Lewis and Meryl Streep are just competitive as
Absolutely. You don't have to just win. You have to end the careers of all your friends when you get into that room. That's the only way to go about it.
Ruffalo and say, I'm going to end you tonight.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hulk versus Hulk. That could be something. I mean, listen.
He's got to get a few more lines in the next film.
Where did your interest in making movies come from?
I think it started with theater. I loved going to the theater with my parents, and but then really just, you know, Sunday afternoon movies with my dad, watching The Great Escape and reruns on Sundays, and it hooked me very early. I was very, very captivated by films, and then you know, my friends and I used to take. You remember the video cameras you had to put an entire VHS tape into?
They had a stand.
And we would make films that we would make little films just using the pause button as our cut. You know what I mean? Like, so you got one shot at it and then pause and then change the angle, and we would make kung fu films and things.
Really?
Like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Did you title them? Do you remember any of the titles?
I don't know. I don't remember the titles. We did them, like, we would do a whole one in a day, you know what I mean? And but I still, talking about OCD, I remember lines. If a line is very memorable from anything I've ever worked on, I will fixate on it and remember it for the rest of my life. And I remember with my friend Dan Silver, what we would do is have the person on camera moving their mouth and the person off camera saying the line so that it looked like those kung fu.
Right, a little bit off.
And I remember being on camera and my friend Dan off camera, saying, once between us there was peace, now there can be only bloodshed. And I think it's a great line.
It's a nice line.
I think it was a great line.
Maybe when we come back, we'll practice it during the commercial, and you can say it, and I'll move my mouth. All right?
Yeah, good.
Just like the old time, just like Dan Silver was here.
You look like him.
Edward Norton is with us. We'll be right back.
Portions of Jimmy Kimmel Live are brought to you by Black Sails. Black is back. Coming soon on Stars.
I want to ask another question.
You already asked another question.
One more.
Go ahead.
If you weren't afraid, what would you want to do to me?
I'd pull your eyes out of your head.
That's sweet.
I'd put them in my own skull. I'd look around so I could see this street the way I used to when I was your age.
That's a smooth talker right there. Edward Norton and Birdman, for which he's nominated for an Academy Award. Emma Stone is fantastic. I was glad she got nominated, too.
She is talented way beyond her years. She is really.
She really is. We forgot to rehearse during the commercial, our thing. It just occurred to me. You want to try it?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Who's on camera and who's off?
Well, obviously, I'm the better looking one. I'll be on camera.
Okay.
Whisper the line to me.
Well, no, that defeats the purpose.
Oh, okay.
You just you move your.
Okay, ready?
I feel that one is deflated, but I can't tell if it is the left or the right.
What did I just say? That's not from a Kung Fu movie. By the way, are you a fan of Al Michaels, the sportscaster?
If you grew up in the 70s, interested in sports, the 80s...
You're going to love this book then.
Yes. I actually can remember... I remember the blue linoleum floor in my family's kitchen, the exact television, and the pajamas my brother and I were wearing when, do you believe in miracles? Yes. And the U.S. won the gold in 1980 hockey.
Yeah.
Game. I mean, I have so many memories burned into my brain that have his voice playing over them.
It's almost like you might want to get a restraining order, in a way.
Yeah. Actually, I have a question I'll ask him.
Okay. Oh, good. You want to hang around?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. Edward Norton is going to hang around. Al Michaels is here when we come back. We'll be right back.
The Jimmy Kimmel Live Concert Series is presented by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Next week on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Channing Tatum, Kevin Costner, Elle McPherson, David Beckham, and Kerry Washington, plus music from ZZ Top, Jamie Cullum, Vance Joy, and Neo. Portions of Jimmy Kimmel Live are brought to you by Black Sails. Black is back, coming soon on Stars.
Edward Norton is here. His movie Birdman opens wide this weekend, so everybody will get to see it all across the country. Our next guest is one of the great broadcasters in television history. No one else has called the Olympics, NBA Finals, World Series, Stanley Cup Final, and the Super Bowl, except for him. His best-selling memoir is called You Can't Make This Up. Please welcome Al Michaels. Have ever met before.
We've never met.
But your voice has been haunting Edward for most of his life.
He's my favorite actor of all time right now after those.
Right now.
I want to win like 11 Academy Awards, not 2. Wow.
How you doing?
Thank you.
Very good to see you.
I'm fantastic. I feel great.
I love the book, and I want to get to that in a second.
2:14 in the morning.
I feel like I have to ask you about the Super Bowl and deflated balls and all this stuff.
Deflategate.
This has become a huge story. Do you think it should be a huge story?
Well, let's see. The government of Yemen has collapsed. You have terror cells in France, and all 3 network news broadcasts tonight were led with Deflategate.
Yeah.
In fact, somebody sent me something in Vegas now. They already have all the proposition bets for the Super Bowl. You can bet on anything. Who'll be the MVP, blah, blah, blah. There's a proposition that says, how many times will Michaels and Collinsworth say deflated balls?
Let's bet on
over-under is 2.5. Bet the over.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. That is a
We
great
can
tip.
control that.
Get that bet in before this broadcast goes on the air.
I mean, we got it in 14 times in 3 minutes.
Yeah, I know, you're right, although nobody's betting on us, I don't think.
Right.
So you believe Tom Brady and Bill Belichick when they say they don't know anything about it?
Belichick, I thought, was very credible today. Tom, worked the edges, but, players in this situation, they do. I mean, today was a day of obfuscation. How about two guys from Arizona State talking about obfuscation?
Obfuscation, yeah.
It was just pretty good. I thought it was very interesting to see Troy Aikman today and Mark Brunell, who was a quarterback, and they basically said that, hey, Brady's guilty. He had to know what was going on. So I don't know, but I think it's interesting when the brethren all of a sudden go, hey, wait a second, you had to know.
Yeah, well, they'd know, I guess.
Well, I found one of the more interesting things was when this was apparently discovered by the Colts after an intercepted pass. Think of it in these terms. If the ball is deflated so Tom can throw the ball better, and then a pass is intercepted with a deflated ball, maybe he should go to the overinflated balls. Maybe that's the answer.
It's not.
It's crazy. This whole thing is just insane.
It also is possible that Tom Brady is protecting some ball boy or some equipment manager, yes?
Well, but that's real dangerous because some kid will, somebody will go to him and go, hey, here's $20,000. Come talk to us and give us the truth. I have no idea what happened with this thing.
Yeah.
But it's nuts. I mean, think about this. This is going to be a great game. And the game is a week from Sunday. I guess it'll die down by then.
It probably will.
But it's insane right now. It's
crazy. I know,
crazy.
because you know why? There's nothing else to talk about.
Well, also, you know what it is? Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. Football has now become a complete national obsession. I mean, think about this. They only play it, 16 weekends a year, and then come the playoffs. But it is talked about every day. Fantasy football has become gigantic. You know this better than anybody.
Yes.
Football is it's a national obsession.
It really is, and it's partially your fault.
It's my fault. I take the blame.
Have you ever worked a secret or inside message into a broadcast?
Well, yeah, I play golf with a bunch of guys, and once in a while we'll screw around, and I'll say, I'll throw this phrase into the game, yeah. In other words, I want my friends to know, hey, look, I know you know, so I'm going to say something for you.
I see. Would you do something during the Super Bowl for all of us here?
Sure.
Like an inside thing.
After what Ed said about me, I may get Ed's name in like 20 times.
Excellent. Good. Yes. Get Ed's name in there, and I would love it if you could somehow work in my husband's not gay.
I could do that too. TLC?
What's the over-under on that?
The over-under on that is less than 2.
I feel like you wrote this book specifically for me and for guys my age because there's so many sports players and characters that I'm interested in that you've had these personal long-term interactions with.
Crazy.
And there's so many great stories. And one of them is you worked a baseball game, with both Howard Cosell and Tommy Lasorda.
I did, right.
Which is two very big personalities.
Right.
And Tommy doesn't do that.
Tommy he was managing the Dodgers, and they lose out on the last day of the year. So we bring him in. He'd never done television before. Gregarious and loquacious and all that. But I'm working with Cosell. So what happens is we're doing a Cardinal-Atlanta game. It's the playoffs in '82, National League. And Kenny Boyer, who was a great Cardinal third baseman, had died about 2 weeks before. So his kids come out to throw out the first ball. And before we go to a commercial, there's nothing Cosell loved more than doing a eulogy. He just wanted to show you how much he knew. So Cosell says, all right, before we go to the commercial, let me draw your attention to the pictures. Moundby is going to the mound, the family of the late Kenny Boyer, a man who died of lung cancer, absorbed more Laetrile treatments than anybody thought was humanly possible. You can have your Rogers Hornsby. You can take your Joseph Ducky Medwick. You can have your Albert Red Shane Deans to the man himself, Stanley Frank Musial of Denora, Pennsylvania. Because when it comes to the embodiment of the St. Louis Cardinals franchise, look no further than the countenance of one Kenton Lloyd Boyer. He was a man's man, and we'll miss him. So now, Howard, very self-satisfied. We go to commercial. I turn around. We put our headsets on. It's me, Cosell, Lasorda, and all of a sudden I hear in my headset, I look over, and Lasorda's got tears coming down his eyes, and Howard hears it too, and Howard looks over at Tommy, and he says, Tommy, what's the problem? And Howard's got the toupee, the yellow jacket, and the cigar. And Tommy says, oh, Howard, I roomed with Kenny Boyer in the minors. He was I loved him, one of my dearest friends. What a eulogy, what a tribute. Nobody can do it like you, right? Cosell says, takes a long drag on the stogie, leans back, and he goes, hey, Tommy, just remember one thing. Kenny Boyer was a prick. The one and only Howard Cosell. He's got about 19 pages.
Oh, there's so many great stories about him.
It's just insane.
Nice, yeah.
Oh, my God. What a great night.
You know, Edwards was talking about the Miracle on Ice, which is the greatest moment in American sports history, certainly not in Russia's. But
Yet.
You call that game, and it's such an incredible moment. But you told the story, and the story behind the game might even be more amazing than the game itself.
Yeah, well, I mean, that game started at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was over at about 7:15 on a Friday. But there was a second game, and Sweden was meeting Finland in what would amount to be the other semifinal game. And in those years, Rune Arledge was my boss and one of the iconic figures in the business. But he was always worried that we'd have a mechanical failure, a technical issue, a tape machine would break. So the game, the U.S.-Soviet game, is being tape delayed, and now at 8 o'clock they start the tape. But Rune was always worried that there would be an issue. So Ken Dryden and I, who were doing the game, the former Canadian goalie, we're doing Sweden-Finland for the next 2.5 hours. America's watching the U.S. beat the Soviets, going crazy, and we're doing the entire Sweden-Finland game.
It's quite a come down.
I was exhausted. I was alternately, exhausted and exhilarated walking back to the hotel that night. It was crazy.
Well, this book
was there ever a game of all the time? Because you call the games, you have to be somewhat impartial, right? I mean, impartiality is kind of the nature of it, but. Was there any time more than the U.S.-Russia game that you? Was that the most authentically excited you ever got, or was there ever any game that you lost your impartiality in?
It's a great point. It's the one game I could do. I can't, in the Super Bowl or whatever, people are thinking you're rooting one way or another. I'm not. I'm rooting for high drama. That's the one game where you knew that 99.9% of your audience was going with you.
And the other ones were
when I said that, I mean, it was the emotion and the 9-year-old boy in me coming out. It's the one time I could do it. So there's no other chance to do that. I mean, the 1%.
Anytime an event in sports just overtook you, it was so exciting you couldn't be.
Well, that came close, but I've learned, the hotter it gets, the cooler you have to say. Because if you try to top the game, it just sounds
You sound like a South American announcer saying, "Go, let go, let go, let go."
Yeah, right. And when you say the hotter it gets, the cooler you have to say, you mean that sexually as well? Well,
Linda Michaels is sitting back there. We've been married 48
I'll ask
years.
her then.
Yeah, ask her later.
The book is called You Can't Make This Up. You should buy it. Al Michaels, the Super Bowl, Sunday, February 1st on NBC. We'll be right back.
The Jimmy Kimmel Live Concert Series is presented by AT&T, mobilizing your world. The Jimmy Kimmel Live Concert Series is presented by AT&T, mobilizing your world.
I want to thank Edward Norton. Watch the Oscars live. Oscars Sunday, February 22nd, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific here on ABC. I want to thank Al Michaels. I want to apologize to Matt Damon. Nightline is next. But first is their album. It's called What a Terrible World, What a Beautiful World. Here with the song Make You Better, the Decemberists.
I want you, thin fingers. I wanted you, thin fingernails. And when you bend backwards, I